Okay, so we're live. Today is October 25th, and I just got back from like a crazy kid thing, fall festival thing at church. And so, yeah, bedtime was a little bit of a struggle. But Jamie and I wanted to hop in here and chat with you guys a little bit about just kind of some tips for pushing for this last week and kind of give you an idea of what's possible in a week. If you're willing to just set your mind to it and not take no for an answer, so to speak. And then I'm just going to talk about a little bit of personal development that I feel like is super important. And then I'm going to tell you guys about the Christmas Cash Dash. So Jamie and I are pulling together our teams. I don't actually know what Jamie's team name is. Crap, that sounds lame. Okay, but Jamie and I are pulling together our teams, and we're going to do like a Christmas, well, if you don't celebrate Christmas, it's just a holiday cash dash kind of a thing. So basically, you're going to be pushing with 2 or 3 other people. Like you're going to have a partner or maybe a group of 3, and you're going to be accumulating points based on meeting different deadlines, meeting different goals, reaching Success Club, things like that. And our hope with that is that you guys start to see some consistent success over the next 2 months leading into the new year. And if anything, you build a ton of relationships with people who are going to come back down the road and say yes later. So, okay. This last week, I'm going to start with my story a little bit just because I know some of you guys haven't heard it. So I have been a coach for about 3 years. I'm currently a 1-star lifetime diamond coach. I am not currently 1-star. My husband dropped diamond because he doesn't have enough emeralds, and I'm working on developing some emeralds there. But that's okay. Like, I made it for qualification, and to me that was what was most important for that moment. So I've been coaching for about 3 years. I've got 2 kids. I stay home with them. And so my situation looks a little bit different than Jamie's. Jamie is a full-time working mom, and she's got 2 older kids, 2 or 3 older kids. And so like our situations are similar in some ways and they're different in other ways, but I think it's good to like kind of have the perspective of both of us because you can kind of get a feel for somebody who works a lot, somebody who stays at home, and like what can you accomplish in the cracks of your time. So I started coaching because I had postpartum depression after my baby was born, and I felt kind of just lost. I don't know if that makes sense. I just didn't really feel like I knew who I was anymore, and I didn't take care of myself, for one, and I was terrible about like just negative self-talk all the time. I feel like you could take Eeyore's description. I felt like Eeyore with this like cloud over my head, and I just felt like this weight was on me all the time. And it took me about 7 months of like being a mom to realize what was going on. And so when I finally did, I started doing as many things as I could to naturally like kind of figure things out. And so I tried a lot of different things before I finally found Shakeology and the Beachbody programs and the coaching opportunity. All of those things pulled together really. And the main thing for me that pulled me out of it was that I felt like having Shakeology and eating the right foods helped. And I just, in like a month, less than a month, in 21 days, I felt like a completely new person. And I decided after doing it for another 21 days, after doing 21 Day Fix twice, that I couldn't just keep this to myself because I was having so many amazing changes in my life, and I had lots of people talking to me about it, and I was excited to talk about it, so I figured, why not be a coach? I went diamond in that first year by Summit. So what was that? May or June of 2014. And then 2015. And then I was just kind of stuck. I had this year of craziness where I ended up being pregnant in 2015 and went to Summit my first time, and I was like 11 weeks pregnant with my daughter Tatum, who's now almost 2. And I tried really hard to stay consistent with things, but I let a lot of things slip. Like I didn't do my power hour every day. I took lots of naps. Like, not that naps are a bad thing, but I didn't really apply myself to coaching as much as I had in the past, even though I was still doing a lot of the things like the vital behaviors. I just was leaving out some of them. I wasn't doing all of them. And my business suffered for it. And so I had coaches drop. I had coaches quit. And I kind of got in this place where I let all of that negativity happening really affect what I was doing personally. And I was just kind of in this little rut, so to speak. When Tatum was born, I still didn't really feel like I could get out of it. I struggled to hit Success Club, and I just felt like I had a really hard time finding people to work the business and helping them actually work the business. Like the mentor side of me didn't really feel very strong. And like, that's completely normal because becoming a mentor is not something that you can just like do in a night. And I'm kind of I did this whole, lose weight in 21 days. Can I just be a mentor in 21 days? And it's not really how it works. So I had this like year and a half basically of me feeling really stuck and not really being consistent with some of the different things. And then I got out of that by doing, I did a group with Josh Coates, who's one of my mentors. You guys probably have seen some of his stuff on Facebook here and there, but he works with Beachbody coaches, and he talked for 3 months. We worked on personal development and just doing the crap. Like Micah talks about this all the time. You have to do the unattractive stuff, the crap, so to speak, to be successful long-term. Same with our fitness journeys. We have to show up every day. We have to work out and get all sweaty and be sore, and do the meal prep and go grocery shopping, because if you don't do those little things over time, then there's no point. You may as well just quit while you're ahead, because nothing's going to change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. It's kind of like the mentality I feel like we kind of need to adapt. So kind of just to segue into that, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about some personal development that I've been doing lately. If you've never heard of John C. Maxwell, I highly suggest going and listening to John C. Maxwell. Anything you can get your hands on. No Limits is a really good one to read and just highlight the crap out of it. I underline stuff and write notes on it. But this book, I'm reading it for the second time, and it's John C. Maxwell's newest book. And it really talks about he calls it developing your capacity and overcoming personal boundaries. So he talks about these different capacities that we can have, like emotional capacity and creative capacity. Some of these things that were a little bit more inherently, we have those. And then there's ones that are choices. They're capacities you can expand. Like discipline is a capacity you can grow. You're not stuck with a set amount of discipline capacity or something like that. You can become more disciplined over time. So one of the things for me is I had to get more disciplined and more intentional with my time, more intentional with what daily actions I was doing. So I wasn't just scrolling Facebook and mindlessly connecting with people. I was actively finding the people that I felt like I wanted to work with and the people who wanted to work with me. And I was being intentional about connecting with those kinds of people and developing myself as a person in a way that would attract those kinds of people. So just 3 little tips from John C. Maxwell, might be 4 or 5 actually, but I'm just going to kind of summarize the discipline capacity chapter for you guys because I loved it. There's a quote that he says is, it's over the years I've come to see self-discipline as an invisible magic. You can't see, smell, or taste it, but its effects are huge. It can transform fat into slim, sag into buff, uninformed into expert, poor into rich, misery into happiness. It's the submerged part of the iceberg others don't see when they see your genius. So when you see one of those, one of the top coaches, or Melanie Mitro or Micah or Ashley Smith or somebody who we're all really familiar with because we see their stuff or we hear them on the National Wake Up Call. When we see that success, it's easy to just look at the tip of the iceberg and not understand the process and the discipline that they've had to exhibit to get to where they're at. And I'm nowhere near being as disciplined as I need to be. It's something I'm constantly working on. I feel like I've been lagging in it in the last couple of weeks. And I think we go through phases in life where we really just have to kind of buckle down and just I don't want to say buckle down and just grind it out or hustle really hard, but that's kind of what it is. It's just being obsessed about being disciplined, basically. If you've never heard of the book Be Average or Be Obsessed or Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone, I would suggest either reading or listening to it if you have, one of the PD lists that I do. of just a growing number of books and things, but that one is really good too. So anyway, when you think about somebody who is disciplined or who's been successful, you got to think about the habits, the things they've had to create. To grow your discipline capacity, you have to know what's important, because everything that's worthwhile in life is going to be uphill. Like, no matter what it is that you're working towards, if you're working towards some goal with coaching, if you're working towards something in a health journey, trying to better your relationship with somebody, doesn't matter what it is. If it's worthwhile in life and it's going to bring you happiness long-term, it's going to be an uphill battle. And so you have to be prepared to just to mentally grasp that and prepare yourself for that, because there's going to be sucky days, and there's going to be days that you want to cry because you're like, oh my gosh, like, why is this not working for me? It's a roller coaster, and it's completely normal. And a lot of times we get caught up in feeling like, oh, I feel like this, that means I shouldn't be doing this. That's not necessarily the case, because everybody goes through that. So really knowing what's important, your why, going back to that, is super key, because if you don't have a strong enough purpose, you're not going to keep going. My upline Micah talks about how you can't quit at something that you feel like you're called to do. And so I feel like I have a message that I can share with people and that I'm good about talking about. I have a way of connecting with people in a way that somebody else can't. And if I don't share what I have, whether it's, related to coaching or not, if I don't share what I've got going on or what's been going through my mind, the thoughts that I have, the posts, the videos that I do, anything like that, then I have no idea what the ripple effect negatively could be or positively from me sharing that. So knowing what's important, because you can't quit at a calling. So find whatever your reason is for doing this and make sure that you keep that at the forefront of your mind. The second thing is you have to get rid of excuses. We love excuses. Sometimes we don't even realize we have them. So there's so many. We can come up with a million. I don't have time. My kids are in school. My toddler's always hanging on my leg. Like, all of these different things can be different types of excuses. It's not that excuses are bad or that we shouldn't, like, obviously, like, if your kid gets hurt, like, that's an excuse not to work your business for, like, however long it takes to help your kid. But ultimately, you can't use everything that comes along as an excuse to not work your business, because then you're not going to work your business. So what about, like, excuses do we need to pay attention to? John C. Maxwell basically just says, how do you know if something is an excuse? You have to ask yourself, would it stop me from doing something that I love to do? And if it wouldn't stop you, then it's an excuse. So get rid of it. So I'm trying to think of, like, a good example. Like, if I'm too tired and I want, maybe I've got to go, I don't know, do my workout, something like that. Being tired to me is not an excuse to not do my workout. Unless I'm, like, puking and have a fever or something like that, I'm going to show up and do my workout, because ultimately, like, if I don't do my workout, I'm going to regret it more later than if I just show up and do it. So, like, being tired to me isn't an excuse. It could be an excuse. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking in circles here. This one, to me, it makes sense, but it's kind of something you have to think about, like, in whatever your own personal situation is. Okay, love this one. Cozy talks about this all the time. She says, you've got to be able to take action before you feel like it. So sometimes you're not going to feel like showing up and working your business. I did not feel like showing up and doing a power hour this afternoon. My head was, like, throbbing because I've had, like, a tension headache from all of this craziness going on in my life. But I just made myself sit down and start, like, plugging away at starting conversations, talking to people. And as soon as I had been in it for about 10 minutes, it got easier. It wasn't so much of feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. But as long as you can just have the discipline to take action before you feel like it, that will help a ton. You don't have to focus on the long term. Just focus on what do you need to do today. Like, what are the must-dos for today if you have a really stressful day happening? I never let a day go past without making sure that I'm being intentional, growing my network, adding value with whatever my posts are, and just adding people to my I would say growing my network, adding value to other people, like, on their pages, connecting with them, and starting new conversations. And ultimately, I send an invite. I send, like, lots of invites, like, almost every day. Distractions. Facebook, Instagram, they can be so distracting. So when you're working on your business, you have to make sure you're being intentional on those things. And if you see shiny objects, don't go follow them. Like if somebody shares a video on their Facebook page and it looks interesting, great. Don't go watch it. Like you're working your business, work your business. You're going to have to say no to some things. If you've, like, I don't go on play dates. I used to go on lots of play dates with other moms, and it's not that I don't want to socialize with those people, but it's more important to me right now to be more intentional with the things that I'm doing for my power hour and let my kids go to play dates at other people's houses, you know, on other times, or just let them stay home and play at home than it is for me to go have a social life every single day. I'm not saying it's bad. I need social interaction, like physically in person with people, but I just don't do it every single day like I used to. So say no. Like you have to be willing to say no to some things. And for me, sometimes that was saying no to cleaning my house, saying no to doing the laundry and just letting it sit in the basket. I still have laundry in my basket today, by the way, just saying. It might be that, you know, maybe you need to hire a house cleaner for like once a month, if even that, and just have somebody come and take that off like your load. Because sometimes I feel like as women, especially stay-at-home moms, we're so split between a million different things that it can feel like we have to do everything and we can't rely on help from somebody else. Think about, you know, what is worth your time, and you're like, because you are valuable. Like especially if as you're building your business, it might not feel like it because you feel like, oh, I'm not really making much of an income. Like, what's the point? But your time and your investment in being willing to connect with other people, that's way more worth it. Okay. Be aware of time. So I use timers. Like if I feel like I'm having a hard time focusing, I will set a timer for 20 minutes and I'll connect with people for 20 minutes and I'll go from a list. So be aware of time and use a list, like stay organized. I feel like sometimes systems work really well and you have a good system going, and then sometimes you have to tweak it and it's okay to change it. I have a hard time with change. So I feel you if you have a hard time doing that, because I'm kind of in a place where I feel like I need to change up like how I'm systematically connecting with people, because it feels like it's not being as effective anymore. So just be willing to change and just stay disciplined in doing the same thing consistently for a little bit more than, 2 days, because you got to give it like a couple weeks to see if it's working any differently than it was before. And then the last one is to follow through even if it hurts. Like sometimes you really don't want to show up and work your business and you just really don't want to connect with people, but you kind of have to get out of that mindset of feeling like you're doing this for you. And remember, you're doing this not just for you, but you're doing it for your family. You're doing it for the people that you connect with and the people that you build relationships with, the people who like creep on your posts and you have no idea if they're watching or not, but they're following you and they get up every morning and they're willing to just like try again that day because they saw something that you posted. So post even if you don't feel like it. Find something, copy and paste something from 3 months ago if you need to, and share like on social media. Be that light that you want to be, because I feel like we're all in this because we want to kind of be that for someone else, because we found it from whoever our coach is that we found. So, okay. Personal development section. I love this book. So if you can get this book and read this, I would suggest reading it and read it a lot, because I'm reading it a second time and I feel like I'm still learning new stuff. Okay. So Jamie wanted me to tell you guys how I went 1 star. Honestly, I built my husband. So if you don't have a spouse signed up as a coach under you, you need to get a spouse, like, or a brother or a mother-in-law, like sign somebody else up as a coach under you, get Shakeology packets under them and sell the Shakeology packets for like $5 each in like a, 5 for 25 sampler so people can try Shakeology and do Clean Week. Like you can make your investment back at a bare minimum and at least, break even on that account. And building like a spouse, especially if you build someone on your weak leg, is how you're going to amp up your volume. It's how you're going to build your income faster. But having that spouse there, having that person you can control, at least have more control over than another person, it's so helpful. Like I pretty much consistently added coaches, like as many coaches as I could. I was adding coaches to my husband. And then when it came down to the wire, so to speak, It's like the end of August when the deadline was. And when it came down to that last week, I was so close. Like I needed 2 more coaches, like 1 on each side, and I needed 2 emeralds. So I basically needed a total of 6 coaches. Now, that kind of, I'm sure, like, I don't know, when I first heard like, oh my gosh, to get emerald, I need 2 coaches, I totally freaked out. It's like, how am I going to go emerald? How am I going to go emerald? I have to find 2 people who want to do this with me. You don't necessarily have to find 2 people who want to do this with you. You need to find 2 people who want to be in this for the long haul, and they may or may not learn to be coaches. They may or may not stick with it for a long time, but you just need to find 2 people who, when you talk to them and you tell, they tell you that, okay, I really want to do this, then you just tell them, okay, you can either sign up as a customer or you can sign up as a coach. Here's the benefits of being a coach. And honestly, what I've been telling a lot of people lately is I've been telling the people that sign up, some people choose to still be a customer, and that's fine, but I tell them, when you're a customer, you get this, this, and this. This is the challenge pack description, basically. When you're a coach, you get the same stuff, but you also get the opportunity to help people. You get the opportunity to make commissions, build an income. You get a 25% discount on Shakeology. Like there's a few different things, but I also tell them at the end of that, I tell them, you know what, I tell them it's up to you, but my most successful challengers, the ones who are able to reach their goals of weight loss, the ones who are able to, just be successful long-term in building this lifestyle are my coaches. And I feel like I've had a lot of people who they are totally fine. Once they understand that side of things and they understand the accountability side and how being a coach and having that extra support layer, having the future discount on Shakeology, once they understand that, it's kind of a no-brainer for almost everybody. I always explain to them it's easy to cancel if they really have to do that, and I don't hide anything from them. As far as the coach fee goes, I explain to them how that goes. And by the way, if they're in the military, they get that waived, so it's pretty awesome. Military or military vets. Dottie, are you a military vet? No? Okay, for some reason I thought you were. Okay. So, side note. But yeah, I pretty much to build that many coaches, I talked to all of my recent challengers. So people who just signed up with challenge packs, and I just asked them at the time, because I was working towards qualification, I pretty much just straight up told them, I'm working towards this big goal. I didn't really go into tons of detail. I basically just said, I'm working towards this big goal, and I really would love it if you would be willing to sign up as a discount coach for now. If, at the end of 5 weeks, you really want to cancel, that's totally fine. But basically, this is just going to make it so that we don't have to worry about signing you up as a discount coach later to get Shakeology on a regular basis. Bam. That was it. And they were like, okay, sure. And one of them canceled. The rest of them has stayed on. And it's been 2 or 3 months. And they've stayed on as discount coaches. A couple of them are learning the ropes of the business as they go. You never know what's going to happen with somebody. And so don't assume that it's a bad idea to offer the business opportunity up front, even if they don't actually work the business. Does that make sense? Okay. So honestly, that's really all I did. That's I stayed consistent with inviting people, and this is going to sound crazy. Maybe you've experienced this now or recently, maybe you haven't, but I feel like the more people that I talked to, the more people that I interacted with on Instagram, on Facebook, messaging people for my stories, messaging people who liked and commented on my posts, the more that I interacted with those people and sent tons of invites, the more that I actually had somebody come to me. I don't know if that makes sense. It was almost like there's a book called Think and Grow Rich, where basically when you're doing the things you need to be doing and your mind is focused on whatever goal you're trying to focus on, then the universe kind of is pulled towards you in a little bit of ways. And so it's not necessarily chance. It's not like dumb luck. It's just that sometimes people just come back into your life at just the right time after you've been taking all of this action. So massive action is what brings you to where you want to get. If that, I don't know if that makes sense, but if you invite 10 people, one of them might say yes. So if you invite 100 people, then you have a better chance of at least 10 people joining up and doing either coaching or want to do the challenge group or things like that. What else do I feel like helped me go 1-star? I stuck to my fitness journey over the summer. Like I was a product of the product. Like I had some crazy results with Insanity Max 30. I went like no added sugar, and then I did Shift Shop, and I ran my challenge groups like a test group, and I made it pretty much like a no matter what, like if you're going to show up in this test group and you want to be eligible for whatever the prize was at the end, then you got to be willing to show up and do your crap. Like I didn't say it that way, but basically you have to be willing to show up for yourself and for your fitness journey because you said you want to do this, and I'm telling you this is what you need to do to help you accomplish whatever XYZ goals are. So have the integrity to yourself and show up and do that. So like being more upfront with my challengers and explaining my expectations for them has helped them stay on track and get them results. And then they want to do coaching, or then they want to, at least have the discount on Shakeology because they fall in love with it. So there's kind of, those are, I don't know if that kind of, does that make sense? Does that help at all? Sometimes I feel like I'm just rambling. Okay. So last couple things, Christmas bonus stuff, like with Jamie and I have been doing a little brain power stuff together, and we've been thinking of how we can like basically make it so you guys have some fun stuff to work towards. And I think I have it pulled up somewhere back here. I think I have it pulled up back here. Yes, I do. Okay. So I'm going to screen share this really quick and just go over this briefly. Share screen. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to post this in our team pages, but basically we're going to partner you guys up. Just kind of Jamie and I are going to do that, and we'll figure it out. And we want you guys to basically just work with your partner or your small group and do the things you need to do consistently for the next 2 months to grow your business. And we've changed a few of the things. Micah's doing this for us, and we've just kind of changed a few of the ways that you can earn points. We want to give you guys some points based on consistency. And so if you are consistently doing your power hour and you're sending 5 invites a day, or you're sending 10 invites a day, whatever it is, we want to give you points based on, doing things like inviting and signing up a new challenger. If you regain rank, like if you've dropped Emerald or you've dropped Diamond and you regain that rank in whatever that week is, we're going to give you points for regaining the rank, and you'll go into a drawing that week for the shirt. Like just kind of a fun. I have a few different like workout tanks. I've got Beachbody apparel stuff. So those are just those ones. If you either go Emerald yourself or you sponsor a new Emerald, meaning you could have like a spouse that you make go Emerald by signing 2 coaches up under them. Then you'll get 5 points, and then the points just go from there. Success Club 5, you're going to get 3 points. Success Club 10 or more, you get 6 points. Success Club 10, if you don't understand this yet, if you reach Success Club 10, that means you help 5 people in that month. Then you get free Shakeology leads. That means you get commissions. You have people who potentially will turn into discount coaches because they're just ordering Shakeology every month because they saw it on the infomercial. They can turn into awesome coaches if you like build a relationship with them. But at a bare minimum, they can be some strong discounter coaches who are consistently ordering Shakeology and building volume. So Success Club 10, if you really want the commission, if you want to build your volume, like you need to hit Success Club 10. It's 5 people. That's like your mom, your sister-in-law, your uncle, like your best friend, and maybe one person who's a stranger off Instagram. Like, it's possible, and I promise, like, I signed up. I'm not saying this to make you guys feel bad or anything. I'm just telling you, like, if you put your mind to something, you can do anything. I signed up 7 coaches in 3 days. Like, I started on Monday, and I just felt super defeated with the idea of going 1-star, and I felt like, what's the point? Like, there's no way. I thought to myself, there's no way I can get Success Club whatever, or that I can get this many coaches in time for this deadline. And then I talked to Josh and I talked to Micah, and they were like, yo, stop doing that. Anyway, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. Affirmations are amazing. I told myself all the time, I am not afraid of my goals. I still tell myself that every day. I'm not afraid of my goals. I'm not afraid of my goals. And then I have to tell myself, like, affirmation wise, you have to like affirm the way you want to show up to your business. So just showing up every day, excited to work my business. I'm positive about the people that I'm interacting with. I'm drawn to the right people to talk to. You know, those kinds of things. Those are going to help you kind of have the mentality and the mindset that you need to going into this. Okay, these are the different prizes, and we'll share this with you guys. But basically, the top teams for November and December, because I don't know that October we're really going to have a whole lot. I think if you earn points in October based on Success Club, things like that, then we will add those to November. But these are the different like main prizes. Yes. Okay, so there's gift cards up for grabs and fun stuff. Okay, I don't know what that ding dong was. Oh, that was Facebook. Okay, I've got like 3 minutes. Okay, diamond bonus pool. If you want to go diamond and you want to qualify for the $250 diamond bonus, it's possible by, you have to qualify by November 22nd is the first time, or the first thing. You have to be diamond when you wake up on November 22nd, which I think is Thanksgiving. It's completely possible, I promise. Like, you can go diamond in this, like, whatever, in a month. You could totally do it, but you have to be intentional. You have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone and just, like, power through the power hour, basically. You have to be diamond, wake up on November 23rd. That means you need 4 coaches on each side, and 2 of those coaches on right and left have to be emerald, or, like, total, 1 on each side. 4. 1 of them on each side has to be emerald. Honestly, that can be super in your control. So, you know, do the best that you can with it. And if you really want to push for that, then make sure that, you know, me or Jamie knows. The second qualification portion of that, you have to be diamond by November 22nd, and you have to hold that rank. That means you can't drop any coaches. You have to be continually adding people for 6 weeks. And that can happen anytime. If you go diamond like next week, then you just hold it for 6 weeks and you're good. The last portion of the qualification is you have to hit Success Club in October, in November, and in December. That just means 3 people at a bare minimum for this month. And I can tell you there's 6 days left in the month. I have hit Success Club from 0 to 5 in the last 2 days of the month. You can do it. Like, it is completely possible. You just have to be willing to believe it's possible and believe in yourself, and like listen to PD like a crap ton and just get intentional with the way that you're connecting with people. Okay, so that's kind of the gist of things. I don't really have anything else that I wanted to talk about, and now there's like 1 minute and a half left. So do you guys have any specific questions? Manage participant. There we go. I can hear you all. While we have a couple more seconds. Do you guys have any specific questions or feedback?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I love, like, honestly, I love talking.
The book one more time.
It's called No Limits.
Okay.
I love this one. It's really good for just personal boundaries, but it's also a really good leadership book if you're like wanting to develop yourself more and develop that leadership mindset. Okay, well, we're going to lose time, so I'm going to end the recording. Thanks, guys. And